What up, guys? Can you hear me? I need a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, because as you guys know, I'm self-producing. I'm sorry I'm late today. I was trying to fix the Zoom issue from Friday. Hopefully you didn't see me crash out on Friday. That was a little bit embarrassing, but you know what? It says that the website isn't live. Let me try turning this on my laptop and seeing if this improves. Okay, content. Let me see. Is it on live on YouTube? Let's see. All right, let me fix the website really quick and I'm going to come back. You know, while you're waiting, I'm going to torture you guys, whether you like it or not. I'm going to make you listen to my mixtape. So I found a song that I got produced last year and I lost it. And now that I found it, you are going to listen to my mixtape while I figure this out. And you might think, Pearl. So there's 2 edits I'd like to make from this. I'd like it to be a little bit faster. I think this is slow. I'd like to 1.25 it and put a couple bumps in. So wait, let me listen.
We don't.
Yeah, so this is me. Yes, you are going to listen to my mixtape while I figure this out.
We don't party like we used to. Take me back to 1992. Everybody's acting brand new. We're not looking across the room. Everybody is looking down on their phones. No one's around. Yeah, we used to tear up the town. Now I don't hear a sound. People don't dance 'cause somebody's watching. Drink too much, everybody's talking. We used to rage like there was no stopping. So put your hands up, everybody's walking. Put your phone down and get on the dance floor. Shake that booty like you never did before. Look real silly, yeah, raise your hands. Let's get together and baby just dance. We used to snap a Polaroid. Now the whole night's on record. I used to know who my neighbor was. Now we really don't do that stuff. We used to go out and ding dong ditch. Now that ring cam is the biggest snitch. Now all these young kids do is stream on Twitch. 2020s are the biggest glitch. People don't dance 'cause somebody's watching. Drink too much, everybody's talking. We used to rage like there was no stopping. So put your hands up, everybody's walking. Put your phone down and get on the dance floor. Shake that booty like you never did before. Look real silly, yeah, raise your hands. Let's get together and baby just dance.
Okay. I just want a little bit more of a bump.
Baby, get your move on.
Okay, listen to this lyric. So I said, take a shot, baby, get your move on. Now, get it?
And be like Stella and get your move on.
Be like Stella and get your groove on.
Take a shot, baby, get your move on. Be like Stella and get your groove on. There ain't nothing you can't do wrong. We don't party like we used to. Take me back to 1992. Everybody's acting brand new. We're not looking across the room.
Yeah, so whether you like it or not, I'm going to start showing my mixtapes. And if anyone doesn't like it, find a different show. I'm not here. I did this show to be creative. I like having fun. you know, I mean, who doesn't want to like put on a show? I just, you know. Anyways, so I do want to put that on Spotify at some point. Should I show you one more of my music career? Should I show you one more? This one. I'm going to show you another. I don't care. This is my show. You're forced. You're forced. You say, Pearl, Pearl, Pearl. Don't do that. Guess what? You have no choice. None. So this was a love song. I haven't gotten this produced because I haven't found a producer I'm happy with in the United States. I haven't. The guy that made this was pretty good, but he's in England. And I had one. You know what? Should I do a love song or the one I did with? Oh, you know what? No, I have a different one. Where is this one? What is it? It's okay. You know what? I'll show that one tomorrow. But the love song, I know where it's at because I put it on Twitter once. Forced. You're forced. Where the hell is it? Oh, wait, I sent it to the radio guy, too. Yeah, because they're going to put me on allegedly, they're going to put me on the radio. Oh, here it is. Is this the one? Okay, this one is so clever. It's called Addictive. Now, this one, they auto-tuned my voice too much. It wasn't as good back then. I'm just going to do the chorus, right? I've been shaking every day since I had to leave. It's not what I wanted, but sure no good for me. But it's 2 a.m. and I'm missing you. And I found myself calling you, saying, babe, come over, let's do this over. Come be my now the best part of this is the chorus.
Ain't been the same since you've been gone, 'cause you're addictive. Side effects include missing you, loss of appetite, sleepless nights, and trust issues.
You ready?
You're
high risk. Where did it go?
risk. I'm a love addict. This feeling is fatal, mentally unstable. You should have come with a warning label. You should have come with a warning label. You should have come with a warning.
Isn't that clever? A warning label. Okay, I'm done. I might torture you every show with my music in the beginning because I just really like music. Is this the one where I put it? Oh no, I don't think this is the one. I think there's one. No. Savo was on one. And I was trying to remember what it was. Release these, Pearl. I'm going to, but they're just not perfect. Like that one I made too long and I want to make it shorter. And I just haven't had the time to go find a producer. If you're a producer, message me on Twitter. That's like the best way to find me. And you know, the news pays me a little bit more. You know what I mean? That's a good question. If you had a warning label, what would it be? Okay, so let's get into today's topic. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me. I know Friday was kind of crazy with all the tech issues, and I do apologize for I always want to give you guys the best show, so I do apologize for getting frustrated on stream and rage quitting. That was pretty embarrassing for me. It was not my proudest moment. But we did fix the Zoom today. Thank you, God. So I do want to apologize to my audience for that. It wasn't my proudest moment. Demonetization has been very frustrating. And that's why I'm trying to get as many people on the website as possible. And you guys have been doing awesome. We can almost cover a producer's salary on the website. My goal is to be able to do a producer's salary and then rent. And then ideally our third employee that works directly for the show. I have like... I also do consulting for YouTubers. If anyone's interested, on average, I get people 100,000 followers in 6 months. Please, if you're broke, don't message me. That's not cheap. I save you like 3 to 5 years of work, and it's expensive. But I like to work with smart guys that are really intelligent in a topic, but just don't want to do the work of YouTube. That's where I come in. But on the website, what my goal is to pay for this entire show on its own, which would mean 2 full-time employees. So we're almost to 1 on the website. And what you're going to get in return is I do read the chat on the website. Now you're thinking, Pearl, get to the point. I don't care. I'm taking my time today. I just don't. Now, normally, YouTubers, you have to do a super chat every time you want them to read it. On the website, I just read it. I have a vision also for this, where in the future, I would like to bring in maybe some of if we get the right investors, I'd like to make movies and bring in some of the like writers that maybe got axed out of Hollywood and produce, I'd bring Weinstein back. No, he's in jail. I can't do that, but you guys get the idea. Dane says it's very Amy Winehouse. Thank you, Dane. Fazell said, dang, Pearl, just saw the Audacity Network notification while opening up my Machiavellian 8. This shit is going to be lit. Also, I find that sometimes when I talk about my problems on live streams, you guys help me solve them. I don't know. So I'm just going to, the other challenge is I go back and forth to Dallas a lot. And sometimes this schedule gets messed up when I'm in Dallas. And we're looking for YouTubers in that area that want to go in on a studio. I have all the equipment to do this grade level, and the other YouTubers could use the studio for free. I just need them to pitch in on rent. So anyways, or I don't know if it'll be, look, Pearl Reed, you should check out an account on X called Digny AI. They use AI to cover women's degenerate behavior on Instagram, and the women were screaming about it a year ago. It's right up your alley. Yeah, people sign up. People sign up subscriptions so Pearl can hire me. Damn it. Yeah, my dad's been really helpful in this, but at some point, I want to fly. I want to get out of here. I mean, you feel like kind of a loser sometime, maybe, it is what it is. But that's the goal with the network, because YouTube did demonetize me. I reapplied October 22nd. They said they would get back to me within a month. Guys, it's February. We are on February 23rd. They have not gotten back to me. If I had money, I'd go to a lawyer and I would sue or something, but it is what it is. Anyways, the website is on both app stores. So it's on Apple apps and it's also on whatever it is, Samsung. I forget. So anyways, when I do talk on these shows, I talk about my experience of interviewing 1,000 women. And, there's some things I sort of, I don't want to say regret in my career because it's how I felt at the time. But I maybe would have done a little differently. And I used to moralize more that I'm really proud of. It's kind of embarrassing now. And I would talk about things that I thought were good and thought were bad. And, you get to thinking and you're just like, well, it doesn't really matter what I think is good and bad because, the world is how it is. Everybody has an opinion on things. And the switch I've tried to make in my content moving forward is I want to be more, for example, I would say women shouldn't. However, it doesn't really matter what I think because they can. And it's not really realistic that in our lifetime that's going to change as much as we'd like it to. So what's the point? You see what I'm saying? Now, one thing when I went in, I thought that women were, if they did not have kids, that I thought that every woman should have children. And I thought this because single childless women, older single childless women are the most unhappy. But, as I interviewed 1,000 women, I met a lot of characters, and you meet a lot of different types of people. And to be fair, the firmware on women is very similar. Like all women have the same programming, but people are different. And what you have with young women is you have a lot of adult children. They're women, that maybe have the mind, like they're 30, 35, but mentally they're like 19, 18, 12. And you realize that a lot of women are not responsible and they're too selfish to have children. Now, I do think women do the second half of life, once their looks fade, have a very difficult time with this. It's not till you get sick and you have to pay someone to take care of you that you have that problem. But then again, I also don't think that you should have children to take care of you when you're old. I think when you have kids, you want what's best for them, and you don't want to take anything from them. If you choose to bring a child into this world, I don't think they're responsible for you. Like a lot of mothers do that. They expect that their children will take care of them when they're old. So they make any negative financial choice in their life and they expect their children to bail them out of it. I don't think that's fair for the child. And you meet a lot of young women that are completely held back in life because they have to take care of their mother. Because she wanted to divorce, or she wanted to do what she wanted to do. And, I've talked a lot about the modern woman life cycle, and we have established that on Pearl Daily. I think it's pretty accurate, and I've sent it to other creators that I know, and they're verified on its validity. I'm not going to recap the whole thing, today, but you can go back to my previous episodes of Pearl Daily to hear the whole thing. But today we're going to talk about points 4 and 5 of the modern woman life cycle, with number 4 being modern women will wake up between the ages of 33 to 37, rush to have kids, find a husband or both. And number 5 being modern women will hit the wall in their late 30s and try to get pregnant through IVF. Modern women will rush to have kids, and some of them will in fact get what they want. They will find a man who is irresponsible to have a kid and become a single mother. They will get inseminated through IVF and become single mothers by choice. And, there is a growing group of women that admit they wished they had kids sooner. They admit that, raising a child when they're older was a whole set of problems they didn't anticipate. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Modern women that, sorry, I messed this up a little bit. We're not talking about modern women that wish they had kids sooner. We're going to talk about oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys, this is so embarrassing. It is what it is. I have a script for a different show and I just read it. Oh my gosh, what is my life recently? This is so embarrassing. I just got to be honest, guys. I've been taking L's. This just is not my week. This This just is not my week. I am so sorry. I know you guys are saying, ugh. Well, this is what it is. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do the real one. Guys, sometimes when you're in show business, I was really focused on the production today and fixing some stuff. So this just is what it is. Okay, so that's my show for later this week that we are going to do. But let me tell you about the real show. But before I do, guys, today, this is my sponsor, Chad Mode, and they will increase your testosterone by 20%. It's a pre-workout. I used it in my marathon. It completely changes the color of your drink. It's really good. It gives you a lot of energy too. It's lemon maple cherry. You can use Pearl. That's the second link in the description. You get 20% off. Okay, so let's talk today. Modern women have many flaws. They are 304s and they do get pregnant out of wedlock and become single mothers. Student loan debt, feminism. It's just really, it's not a great thing. But the worst thing about modern women is they just, can't keep their mouth shut. There are things in the olden days that, modern women, need to share everything on social media. And before we had like community outlets where you could like express yourself and it wouldn't be plastered to the whole town. Like, yeah, people would talk, but it's not like everybody would know your business. But, things in the past women would take to their graves, but now modern women will record and upload onto social media for the whole world to see. They'll talk about STDs, bad financial decisions, being a sex worker. It's really all on TikTok and Instagram. Somewhere along the way, it became okay for modern women that have kids to say they wish they never had kids. Let that sink in for a second. These are women that have children. Some of them are married and they're okay with putting it out into the world that they wish they never had children. Once something's on the internet, it's forever. And, there's a high likelihood that their kids will literally find these videos when they get older. And they have no idea how the kids will feel about it. Women in the past used to pride themselves on being a wife and mother, raising children to be successful, responsible adults with the measure of a woman. Those days are gone. You see stories of women talking about how they had to give up to become a mother. The fear of missing out and sacrifices of becoming a mother are too much on many modern women. So this is, again, remember, being a young woman today is being a celebrity. When you go into the cities and you're an attractive or even average woman, you get to invited onto yacht parties. You get to see your friends living high-flying lifestyle careers. So, yeah, they feel like they missed out. That's why the divorce rate is lowest when women get married between 25 and 30. And my guess is it's going to rise because, and it kind of correlates with the abortion rate. Like the number one most aborted kids are between 20 and 25, and then 25 to 30 is second. I think you're going to keep seeing it go up as technology gets better and women keep pushing off motherhood. Women would push it off till the very last minute if they could, because being a young woman is fun. It's really that simple. It's not, they basically, we're in a mansion and by the end of partying all night, they're in a bunch of debt, a bunch of STDs, all this stuff. And they expect the guy to bail them out. So, that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. The audacity of women that write articles or go on social media and say they don't want kids. Today's modern women are some of the most selfish women ever, and this selfishness shows itself in many ways. It's never okay to do something like this. It's selfish, inconsiderate, and damaging to the children. Like, guys, go talk to your girlfriend. I think this is the challenge. Everything's becoming more parasocial. So it's not that mothers didn't regret their kids before, but there was two things that were changed. One, the alternative wasn't as fun. So, I would guess a lot of this started in the 20s with the roaring 20s. That's like when you saw the birth rate start to go down. So, are there writings of women regretting this stuff? Yes, there are. It's like the same hardware, but the environment was different. So before, the alternative was death. You know, if you didn't get with a guy, death was the alternative. Then the alternative became, well, if you don't get with a guy, you know, you can't really work. There's not a bunch of opportunities for you. Then they gave us opportunities and they're like, well, if you don't get with a guy, now you're missing out. You're missing out on this fun stuff. So again, women have felt this way in the past, but you know, before they could confide in real life friends, but everything's becoming more online and people are finding online communities such as this one. Go to theaudacitynetwork.com. We got Fazelle in the chat saying Pearl is a beast. I don't feel like a beast this week. You know, this has been a rough couple shows, but you know, I appreciate you guys for sticking by me. Okay. Now I'm going to try a camera switcher on my iPad. So we're going to see if this works. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. My mother was a single mom. In between boyfriends, my childhood was oh so confusing. Yeah. And the thing about the RP, guys, is it makes a lot of things about your childhood and like life in general just make sense. There's a little bit of a lag on the stream. So, oh, that is not the camera I was looking for. Okay, let's see if it's this one. We're gonna wait for it to update. You know, but you know, that's truly what I liked about the red pill was it's not that one either. It just made my life make sense. Jesse, rough mode. Here we go with the tech issues. Okay, George, start your own show. You do it. You know, we're going to get better. Charles, Pearl Reed, social media and the internet plus the feminist movement is going to be the downfall of women in the First Nations. The selfishness of women is off the rails. That's why men are MGTOW. Okay, it's cam threes to the... Is there one that lets me do both on this one? Otherwise, I'm going to have to stand up. But anyways, when I did my interviewing 1,000 women, I couldn't believe it because I really thought that it was the biggest travesty if a woman never had a child. But some women are so selfish. They're so selfish that I would beg them not to have a child, if I'm being honest. It won't let me do it at the same time for some reason. Okay. Well, we're just going to stay on this page. Okay. This is from a woman that wishes she never had children. I wish I never had kids. Now they're grown and don't talk to me. I wasted my life raising 3 ungrateful, selfish people. After being totally cut off by her 3 adult children, one mother says she wished she never had them in the first place. If she were getting a second chance, she admitted she'd choose to travel over starting a family. I'm in my 60s, and if I had to do it over, I would not have had children, she said. She explained that she found herself forced to raise children on her own after her marriage ended. My husband was no help. We divorced when my children were 7, 11, and 15. I was a single mother who didn't get child support and had no family nearby to help me. To keep food on the table, she juggled working multiple jobs while caring for her kids. It was a constant struggle to keep a roof over our head, and I often worked 2 jobs, she said. I did it without a lot of the things I wanted and couldn't pursue my own interests. Cece added that her relationship with her children soured as they aged. After they were grown, we had a good relationship for a while, but one child is a narcissist and made up a bunch of lies about me because I wouldn't allow him to manipulate me. What do we think really happened? Put it in the chat. It was a power play on his part, and he eventually turned my other 2 children against me. This started in 2016, and I have no contact with any of them. I wasted the best year of my life on 3 ungrateful, selfish people, and I wish I'd stayed single and free and traveled the world. She warned parents considering kids to weigh the pros and cons. Self-described estranged parents have taken to TikTok to bemoan their relationships or lack thereof with their adult children. Some have described the problem as an epidemic, saying their adult children in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are cutting them off their moms and dads for unfair reason. One TikTok user who goes by Fired Mom has racked up millions of views on her videos in which she describes not having a relationship with any of her children. Other videos under estranged parent hashtag feature baby boomer and Gen X parents venting about their kids going no contact with them. The idea, however, has been met with the backlash from Gen Z and millennial adults who insisted that some of these estranged parents don't respect their boundaries and refuse to acknowledge the things they've done wrong. People think babies and toddlers are so cute and that's the end of the story. It's not. No matter how good of a parent you are, there is no guarantee that people you create won't turn on you, she said. Parental estrangement is an epidemic I have found. We are vilified for the stupidest things, and no matter how many times you apologize, there's no forgiveness. There's no upside now. I do what I want and I go and I spend money where I want. I'm done with the crying, although it took a long time to get here. My advice to women, don't get married, don't have kids, and live free and be happy. What do we think? I want to put in the chat on the website what you think happened. Doug on the website says, too many modern mothers are scumbags. We trash fathers all the time, but give mothers a pass. That needs to stop. Mothers destroy their children and are not held accountable. An Australian woman wishes she never had children. Let me go back to 4. Mom admits, I wish I'd never had my kids. I'll always regret them. A mom has admitted that her life was better before she had children. In a blog post to kidspot.com.au, the unnamed mom of 2 confessed something many parents would usually shy away from ever confessing. She admitted that her life was better before having children. I'm a mother of 2, but I wish I was a mother of none, she started. Yes, I preferred my life without kids. I preferred it so much that I'd wish that I'd never had them. Before continuing, she added a disclaimer stating that before people judge her for her admission, she wants to emphasize that she loves her kids. I want to declare that I do love my boys with all of my heart. Don't confuse my perspective with not loving my kids, she said. I'm not depressed, nor do I have any sort of mental health condition that makes me in any sort of danger or risk to my children or impacting how I feel in some way. The mom then doubled down on her views. In all honesty, it's quite simple and straightforward. Yet, I suppose it's not ever said out loud by many people. I wish I didn't have my 2 children because I think my life would be better without them, she said, because it was better without them. She then went on to reminisce about the past. Before I had my 2 boys, my life was amazing. I absolutely adored my career, and my husband and I were extremely happy together. We traveled and had an incredible social life. We were like some sort of rom-com montage of 2 people falling in love and living their best lives, but real. It wasn't just a phase. We were like this for 10 years and we decided to start having children. And once our first child arrived, things changed and not for the better. Despite this, though, the pair always said they wanted to have children together at some point, and then she became pregnant with her first child. We were excited about our first son's arrival, and when it didn't happen, the reality just didn't meet the expectations, she writes. I love him, of course, but he was an easy baby in terms of sleeping and feeding and everything that makes a baby easy. But I just didn't love being a mom. I didn't love anything about it. She went on to say that she felt restricted by her own child, and she ended up becoming a person she never wanted to be. And things only seemed to get worse when the pair had a second child, another boy. We never wanted to have an only child for a variety of reasons. And although I shared my feelings about motherhood with my husband, after discussing it, we thought maybe a second child would change. She wrote in her blog post. Needless to say, it didn't. So what were the main reasons for these overwhelming feelings? My career is now more of a job, she said. While I still hold the same position, I'm part-time and I can't invest in it the way I had once had, which is part of the reason I loved it so much. It gave me purpose, ambition, and the drive that fueled everything else. Now it's like a little rev engine and a stall until the following week when I can rev it up again, but it never goes anywhere. My social life is also lacking, she confessed. Now, it usually based around my children and my friends who have children doing things together with our children. While I understand that some people love this sort of thing, I don't. Even if it was just the odd occasion, it would be great to do some social activities with my friends without my kids, without their kids, without talking about kids like what it used to be like. After discussing a few more of her experiences, she concluded that if she knew what life would be like after having children, she never would have had them. Yet despite the belief that children are often glorified as the greatest thing a person can do, this mom has started a conversation that I'm sure many parents wanted to have. Okay, women who regret having kids. We have a video here. Tell me if the audio is okay.
I consider myself someone that stands 10 toes down on the fact that I regret motherhood. It's like I don't regret my daughter. I regret the role.
I think people are rubbed the wrong way about it because most moms feel that way.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to say it.
There is an anxiety that I have developed having a child that never lived in me before at all. The fear of even when she's not with me and I don't have to be selfless. I'm still thinking about, is somebody going to hurt her? Is a earthquake going to happen? A mother is like who I am, like at my core. And because of that, it consumes a lot of my thoughts and I hate that.
I need space from my child in order to be a good parent. I can play as much as a 34-year-old woman can play.
Yeah.
But feeling guilty about that too. I chose to be a mother. You're supposed to love every part.
One day she's not going to want to play with you.
She's not going to want to play. You're going to wish she played. No, I won't.
I'm going to say something that will make some people upset. I think we need to normalize regretting.
Yeah. So in all honesty, what happens? These mothers resent their children. I think there's a lot of women that shouldn't have kids. And I used to think they wouldn't be fulfilled or whatever. They weren't going to be fulfilled anyway. Do you know what I mean? They weren't. Yeah. Okay.
Having your children. I'm a therapist and I work with kids, teens, young adults, as well as parents. And there are so many parents who have been vulnerable enough with me in their therapy sessions to admit that they regret having their children. Now, before you shame those parents, these are really, really good parents. Now, these aren't all parents that I work with. It's just an emotion that does come up in therapy that I don't think really gets talked about, because if they were to say some of these words out loud or to other people, they would get shamed for it. And don't get me wrong, these are amazing parents. They're great parents. They love their children. They would do anything for their children. They would never give their children up. But it's just talking about the emotion of regretting having them.
I would much rather regret not having children than regret having children later in life.
A book that seriously shifted my perspective on this is called Regretting Motherhood. I listened to it on Audible, and as a intentional non-parent, I think it's really great that this conversation is being had prior to having children. Everybody featured in that book had already had children. While the sample of the women in this book is very culturally limited, in my opinion, for me, it would still be a soft recommendation, especially for anyone who is coming from a culture where motherhood is just absolutely expected of you. The women featured in this book definitely were. And reading this book, you realize that the amount of women who feel this way but cannot outwardly admit it to anyone except to do so anonymously is massive. Additionally, kids understand exactly how you feel and if you regret them. Children are by and large intuitive when it comes to...
What do you guys think? Should women that don't have children have them anyway? Put it in the chat. I'm going to do a call-in by God willing. God help me, I'm doing a call-in.
The feelings of their parents. We, by and large, underestimate kids and underestimate that specific hurt.
Not everyone's gonna admit to this, but I hate being a mom. Okay, so while I may not feel the same way that this mom does about motherhood, I can empathize with how she's feeling. I feel like there are a lot of reasons why a lot of women hate motherhood. And a lot will not admit it because everyone's in a competition to have the most perfect, ideal, great, wonderful life and be the perfect mom. I think it's partly the expectations that we as a society put on women. It's in general, but then when women become mothers, there are these expectations that are put on us as mothers that fathers don't have. Almost every mom I know would rather be a dad. No one expects dads to be up all night doing the diaper changes or handling any tantrums or doing the appointments for the doctors or the school stuff or any of it. But dad simply just exists in the same house as his kids. He's given the award for the best dad of the fucking century. It's the moms who have to pick up all the slack, who are expected to. Moms are never expected to take a break, never expected to take a sick day. Moms are not allowed to have a man cold and get taken care of. They're having all this.
Really? Moms aren't allowed to take a sick day. We have a whole Mother's Day dedicated to mothers. No one cares about Father's Day. Nobody.
Put on you and people, you're not expected to.
Oh, I'm actually going to read the chat on the website. Fazelle says, single moms treat their kids like trophies, only polished for display and support, but never truly value them. Doug, Anna, where's this article from? Doug, could you tell her? He can find it for you. Who is the first person to call? Doug says, who is the first person to call a young girl too fat, too thin, too dark, too light, dressed like a slut? You look like your deadbeat dad, her mother. Mothers create all of the insecurities in their daughters.
To ask for help, and when you do ask for help, you're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have been a mother if you need help. Whatever other snarky, shitty comment people make about moms wanting to take a... When I go on a vacation by myself every year, and like clockwork.
She goes on a vacation by herself every year? God, these women are so selfish. You don't want to bring your husband? Or maybe she doesn't have one. We'll see.
People, if I post it to my Facebook, people are like, where
Oh no,
are your kids? They have a father. He knows their allergies. He ain't gonna call and bother me while I'm on my vacation. Most women don't have...
She's for the streets.
...a village. It's like the village ups and runs away when you have a baby. I've seen this happen to almost every mom I know. Think about all the people I know, like close to me, that are mothers. I'm one of the only ones that has a support system that I can depend on. I'm one of the only ones that gets to take breaks. I feel extremely fortunate, but that should be a norm. That shouldn't be the exception to the rule. You've got a lot of burnt out mothers who are at the end of their mental ropes. No room to breathe, no room to regroup and recharge. We end up with resentful, hurt, bitter moms who hate motherhood, who don't think they should have been mothers. And it's not just because of a personal issue with them. This is a much bigger issue in a much bigger picture. And I really think we as a society need to address that. How mothers have such little help. Mothers have to suffer in silence. Because if they admit to feeling defeated, you get this shitty pushback. Oh, you're a horrible mother. What if your kids see this? If we were supporting mothers like we should, maybe they wouldn't come online so upset. Maybe they wouldn't be so burnt out and touched out. These are women begging for help, and we need to help them.
If any of you had a mother that regretted they had you, you should call in later.
Are you actually curious why I don't like motherhood? I'd love to tell you. Because society thinks that maternity leave is a vacation. Because people think that stay-at-home moms don't work. Because childcare is astronomically high. Because we don't think that moms work, but we expect families to pay for the childcare for their children as if it's actually work. That men actually make more when they become fathers and women make less if they even stay in the workforce. That moms like you have a different experience of motherhood, so think that they can go judge other moms for having a different experience of motherhood. Because I'm expected to disappear because I'm a mom now and not have any dreams. And I'm judged for having dreams when I finally realize I'm a human and I'm still allowed to have them. And I think that's it for now, but please get the fuck off my page.
Okay. So they're openly talking about how they regret having children. The audacity of these women. Okay, women say it's crazy that women go on the internet and admit they regret having kids.
I think it is so weird and kind of not cool to get on the internet and talk about how you regret your decision to have kids in the name of like informing the masses or making sure people know to really think about it before they have kids. Like, you're not doing it for that reason. You just want to say that. It's so bubbling up inside you that you regret having children that you have to spit that out, I guess. But is the internet really the place to do that? And before people flip out, yes, there is sometimes a toxic positivity stance on pretty much anything, but about having kids, they're like, oh, it's magical, everything's amazing. It's much more difficult than it seems, and I don't think it's wrong to talk about things that are more difficult than people expect. But here's a scenario for you, right? You're scrolling on TikTok, boom, your boyfriend's face pops up. You think, ooh, what does he have to say? And he says, ugh, you know what? I love my girlfriend, right? I love her. She's the most amazing. I would only ever want to be with her. Being in a relationship with her is just, ooh, I would do it 1,000 times over again. But you know what? I miss being single. I miss when I had all the freedom in the world to do everything that I wanted. I didn't have to pick up the phone and call her. I didn't have to pick up the phone and text her. Like, being in a relationship is much harder than people give it credit for. All of my dreams are kind of crushed because I wanted to do all of these things. They're not really possible whenever you're in a long-term relationship. And then I'm going to have to get married. I'm going to be tied down with this person forever. I'm never going to go on another first date again. And now that I have my girlfriend and I love her, yeah, I am probably going to marry her. And I'll be happy in some ways, but here's a hot take for you. Guys, it's not worth it. Are you gonna come across that video and think, oh, he's just venting some pretty normal concerns? And he said he loved me like a bunch of times, so that's what I'm gonna take away from it. My boyfriend loves me and he just needed to vent. That's okay. I highly doubt that would be your response. You would think, huh, these are lots of really concerning issues you're bringing up. You clearly don't want to be in a relationship, and why are you posting it on the internet for everybody to see? So just because your kid's a baby or they're like young and they don't have a TikTok, you can get on the internet and talk like that? I don't know. I get that people need to vent, but like, that's a thing you talk to your therapist about. You have postpartum depression. There are some things in your life that need rearranging. Any number of things could help that feeling you're having. And I'm not saying you shouldn't talk to young people about like what's hard about being a parent. But there's a big viral video going around of a woman talking about how she's super disappointed with being a parent while holding her baby, by the way. And I feel so deeply for that mom because I can tell like she's really, really struggling. And she's not the only one I've seen this from. This is like a common thing across the internet, which leads me to say I don't actually agree that the overall theme about parenting is now toxically positive. I actually think the opposite. Every time I ever tell people anything about something my kid's doing, like, oh, she's about to walk, they're like, oh, just wait till she walks, your life's gonna be over. They always have a just wait that's a negative thing, or like, wait till she's a teenager and she never shuts up, and blah, blah, blah. Mostly I get negativity, but I digress. But yes, just like every single thing in life that is worth doing, being a parent takes work. It's tough. It has its good moments and its bad moments, and we should all feel open to sharing what those things are. But to say, I regret having my children, that's weird, dude. I got on Lexapro whenever I had the baby. Working wonders. And for everyone who's on the fence about having kids, not people who've said, I don't want kids. I'm not trying to convince anybody who doesn't want children to have them. But if you're on the fence and all you see are these negative things, I'm here to say that continue to critically think about whether you want kids or not. Yes, you should be sure that this is the right time, this is the right partner, that you really do in fact want kids. Just know that everybody has different experiences. Just because somebody has a good or a bad experience doesn't mean that you're going to have that exact same thing happen to you. And it is worth it.
Yeah, so women have the audacity to go online and complain that they don't like their children. I can't even believe this stuff. That woman was completely right. She was right.
No, I am
Okay, so now we're gonna do another woman. Here we go.
not giving you a safe place to talk about how you don't want to be a mother and how that's the biggest regret that you've ever had in your life. Unpopular opinion, but I don't believe everything deserves a safe place. I don't know. Eat me up.
Oh, that was funny. I like her. She says not everything deserves a safe place. Oh, that's hilarious.
I really don't care. Because to get online, like, I can get you're having these conversations, like, person to person. Like, y'all don't do, like, on, like, your mom on the phone with your auntie being messy conversations no more. Like, y'all instantly bring shit to TikTok. And my heart goes out to those kids when they get older. Because as much as y'all think y'all hide the way y'all actually feel, them kids feel how much you don't want to be a mother. I don't care what y'all say. That energy of regret that you have is definitely transferring to your kids. And guess how I know it is? Because y'all are making the videos with the baby in y'all hand. What the fuck?
Oh, she's so funny.
I will never make it a safe place online for you to come and talk about how much you hate motherhood when, in my opinion, there's lots of ways to terminate and avoid. So all of this, I regret being a mother talk. Please keep it in the group chat. Did Shay get?
Yeah, she's right. She was funny. I liked her. Okay, and then we have a Reddit story of a woman who regrets having kids. But before we get to that, we are going to talk about the people that signed up for the membership today. I wanted to say thank you guys. You guys have no obligation to support me. I know when I watch YouTube, the odds of me going to an outside app and the odds of me going to some YouTuber and thinking, wow, they demonetized her. Let me just buy this app so I can watch, so I can read her chat. So the fact that we get so many signups every week, it actually amazes me that you guys do that. So I want to say thank you to Ivan, to Marquise. Also want to say thank you. Let me read the ones from the last few days. Chanel, I think. Mike, thank you so much. Danny, thank you. Pasquale, thank you. Corey, thank you. Calvin, thank you very much. Alyssa, we got a female fan. Benjamin, thank you. Kelly, thank you. David, thank you so much. Man Siege, thank you. David, again, thank you. Steven, thank you so much. Chris, thank you. Baron, thank you. Sarah, thank you. Tom, thank you. Michael, thank you. Jones, thank you. Tim, thank you. Thank you guys. If we get enough, we could maybe do events at some point. I would really love to do like a live podcast event where instead of callers, you can take giving your personal experience from the audience. I have to get enough people on the app first, but I'd like to reinvest and make this thing, bigger. Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you. Let me keep going down. All right, so a Reddit story of a girl having kids.
I regret having kids. I'm 35 female, and I regret my decision to ever have children. I'm constantly burnt out and touched out and exhausted, being the only one doing the caretaking. I love them and make sure that they know it, but this is not a life I will never choose to live for myself again. How do other single parents in relationships make it happen? I feel like I'm going to explode either from depression, exhaustion, or rage. My family's help is minimal, but I'm grateful for what they do give. I haven't had a child-free night since Christmas Eve 2020, and before that, March of 2018. I'm so angry inside every time I have to take on one more burden myself. I want to run away some days, but I would never inflict that trauma on my children. My mom left me, and I would never hurt my kids like that. I'm not some checked out parent either. I give hugs, I read books, I give nightly baths, and I ask about school. I give words of encouragement, and I'm exhausted by it every single minute. Am I a piece of garbage? Probably. But I really just wanted to get this off my chest.
All right, another one. Woman says having kids makes you mentally unwell. I turned the audio up a little bit. Tell me if it's better.
I regret making being a mom my dream.
Mother freaking men. I stand by what she says, and I always tell people in real life, in reality, when they ask me, should I have kids? No, don't. Unless you're ready to be mentally unwell. Like she was talking about, her relationship with her partner changed. Yes, it does. That's why when I tell people, when you have your first child, your relationship...
Oh, shoot. Dang it. I forgot to do that.
Regret.
Oh my gosh. I am so sorry, guys. This is a struggle bus. Okay.
Making being a mom. I regret making being a mom my dream.
Mother freaking men. I stand by what she says, and I always tell people in real life, in reality, when they ask me, should I have kids? Should I have? No, don't. Unless you're ready to be mentally unwell. Like she was talking about, her relationship with her partner changed. Yes, it does. That's why when I tell people, when you have your first child, your relationship with your partner is going to be tested. You're going to be going through the hoops, okay? You will figure out if your relationship will survive with children or not, because it's no longer you and your partner. It's you, your partner, and the child, okay? Not only that, but the mental stress, okay? And you feeling like you're no longer in your body, in your own body. And she was talking about relationships, you know, with friends and who's around you. That's so true. Everything changes once you decide to have kids or once you do have kids. And just know that you will never, ever, 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 ever be the same person that you were before you had kids. No matter if you think that you will be, no matter if you're like, oh, like I can work out. No. Your world will be flipped upside down. And let me tell you, unless you have a village helping you 24/7.
Did women really have a village? I don't know if I believe that. I think women say that because they want their job to seem harder than it is. I just don't know if I think that women in history always had a village. Like, weren't most people farmers? Didn't you have like your own farm, or you're working on someone else's farm? I don't know. I'm like,
Then it will be the hardest thing of your life. And even if you do have a village, sometimes even then, it is so difficult to find yourself again, to find who you once were. So yes, I agree with her 100,000%.
okay. So we're going to do a call-in show, and I have a couple questions. Do any of you know women that regretted having children, including your mother? Did they regret having kids? Did your mom regret having you, or did you say anything to you along those lines? Now, I'm going to play a video on the website. I'm going to put the Zoom in the chat. And Lord help me, I hope it works today. I can't promise anything. Oh, we got to sign up. Okay. I did promise that I would give the Rolo tea during this show if I get 10 signups. So if we get 10, I said yearly. I think I was shooting too high. F it. I'll do it for 5 monthly signups. I'll give how the only guy I wanted to be friends with an interview ended up my arch nemesis on accident. Even though I still want to be his pal, he just rejects me. Okay, Robert, thank you very much. And also Marquise, thank you guys so much. The future of the app I really see as being the best $2 men ever spent. That's how I want you guys to be like, wow, this is the best money I've ever spent ever. These movies are amazing. No, the hotties are actually hot. Anyways. Okay, so let me go. I'm going to play a video from the Audacity site. And then okay, so here's one. This was one of my first ones. What a great piece of content. So I'm gonna go do the Zoom. I'm gonna put it in the chat in a second. Okay. What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel. Today I have a special guest on the channel. You guys requested her after last time. I was told we like her, but we want to hear her talk more. So here you are.
Yes. Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. So my name is Jessica, and you can find me on Instagram and YouTube as It's Your Girl Jess. On Instagram, after It's and Yeah, there's a dot, and after girl, there's an underscore, and then Jess. On YouTube, it's just It's Your Girl Jess.
Yeah, and you guys should go subscribe to her YouTube channel. Her videos are actually really fun. I watched a couple.
I'm going to be uploading some more here and there. It's going to be little throwbacks that I have from past adventures that I've had. So stay tuned.
So before I start, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. Okay. So where are you from? Let's do a little background on Jess.
Right. So I was born in California, and then I was raised in Michigan. Then once I got old enough, I moved back to California.
Okay.
So I would say I'm a Michigander Californian.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
So tell me your basketball history. Like give me your stats.
Oh goodness, stats.
I'm just kidding.
No. So my basketball history. I started playing basketball when I was in 5th grade on, what do we call it? Like kind of like a little league team. I forgot the name of it, but I started then, and then I played all throughout high school, all throughout college, and then I took a break, and then I am playing here in the UK at school.
So you play, was it a Division I, Division II, D3 school you played at?
So when I started in college, I played at a JUCO or junior college. And I played 1 year in Michigan at a school in Flint called Mott Community College. And then I played 1 year at Cypress College in California. And then I transferred to Azusa Pacific University in California, and it's a D2.
Okay. And did you get to play a lot
When I started in college, I played at a JUCO or junior college. Not as much as I would have liked to play, but you know, when it comes to school and coaches and politics, they have their own thing. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of, if you make it to that level, everyone's good.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't really make it to a certain level, except a couple D3 schools. You guys know who you are.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a couple that are really bad in D3 at least. But like for the most part, no one can really make it to that level without being pretty good.
Yeah.
And I met Jess because I like randomly joined the basketball team at UEL.
Literally.
So I'm on the volleyball team here, and I like play with the basketball team sometimes when our games don't overlap. And Jess was like the best one on the team by far.
Calm down.
She's like, they might see this.
Calm down.
They would know.
I wouldn't say I'm the best, but I'm one of the few.
She's the best one.
One of the few.
But they also have like a pro team here, the London Lions, which is like, they're crazy good too.
Oh my goodness.
Like
so
the best basketball players I have ever seen in my life.
They're so good. And to be able to play with some of them that are on the university team and then on London Lions has been a pretty cool experience. To be like, oh, I've played with pro players, no big deal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was like, I'm so sorry I'm on the court because you guys, like, we play with this one girl who she competed at Division I in the top like 15 they made it to, or top 20.
I think so. I think it was top 15. The school she went to was a pretty good school.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, guys, Lord help me. I'm trying to make this work. Okay, we're gonna hopefully see the Zoom. Hold on, we're gonna see. It goes like this. So
whatever.
I guess tomorrow it'll be another day.
It's the same here. There's issues.
So what are your thoughts? Doug, you can go first, and then can you tell me who's there? Because I can't see.
Marvin.
Okay.
Marvin's
so
there.
Doug, why don't you go first on the topic, and then Marvin will go to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I hope in my lifetime we can judge mothers as harshly as we judge fathers. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But I put it in the chat on YouTube. I put it in the chat on the website. Who's the first person that a young girl calls a woman a slut or a whore, calls her too tall, too thin, too fat, your boobs are too big, too small, creates all the insecurities in the children, period. It's the mom. And also, just like how modern women want a wedding, but they don't want to be a wife. Modern women, they want the attention of being pregnant. They want to give birth, but they don't want to actually be parents. Sadly, a lot of masculine modern women, when they're pregnant, it's the first time that anyone's ever treated them like a lady. That's serious. There are women who are addicted to being pregnant. And
I
then
never thought about that. They're addicted to being pregnant. Like they don't care about having the kid. They just like being pregnant.
Yeah, and I can say it. I'm black. I'll tell you that American black women, not all but most, I'd say like 80% are just awful, and black mothers are the worst. And because a lot of black women are so masculine, the only time they ever get treated like a lady in their lives is when they're pregnant. I'm talking people open doors for them. People give them things. People give them grace, give them the benefit of the doubt.
And they never have that because they're just bad
They're-
people.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say, they're just they're not good women. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't say bad people, it's just not good women. So, we need to judge mothers, I say even harsher than fathers. Because women of the past used to pride themselves on the children they raised in being mothers. Now women will have a child and talk about how their child is an obstacle to the life that they want. The child is an obstacle. It's something keeping them from the life that they feel that they should have had. It's insanity.
Do you know anyone, guys? So I can't, the way that it is now, since I don't have a producer, I can't see the Zoom. But just make sure you're muted and then we'll bring you next if anyone comes on the Zoom. Doug, do you know anyone personally that regretted having kids?
So yeah, I know. So I'll tell you my story. My mother was awful to her kids for the first 35 years of my life. My mom was an absolute demon. And then my parents got divorced, and she had finally, for the first time in her life, started living by herself, and she started going to therapy. And I remember when I was 36, every harsh, horrible word a mother could say to her son or to her kids, my mom said to me. Just awful.
What did she say?
And remember that one show where you're talking about all the guilting stuff that like mothers do? I carried you for 9 months.
Oh, they think 9 months is like a lifetime. I'm like, okay, it wasn't that long,
I wish you were never born. You'll never know the sacrifices I made for you. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. I remember when I went off to undergrad. Right. I got into this really big university, and I was so happy for myself. And I didn't want to tell my mom because I knew that she was going to try to crap all over it. So I told my mom like the day before I was going to leave that I was leaving to go to this university. And the last thing my mom said to me before I left, she said, "I don't know why you're going down there because you're just going to fail out and you're going to end up on our couch. And then what are you going to do?"
Wow.
And one time, my mom said to me, she said, I hate you when you're here, but I miss you when you're gone. She literally said that to me.
Wow.
Right? And so I'm 36 years old. My mom started going to therapy. And I get a call from my mom, and she's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." She's like, "The reason why I use the term scumbag is because my mom said that she was a scumbag to her children most of her life, and she apologized for all the messed up stuff that she did."
What was that like when she apologized?
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it at first, and not only that, Pearl, she took the time to write down the stuff, like most of the stuff through my life. It like went down the list and apologized for a whole bunch of stuff. She said, "Remember when you were in third grade, I did this, and then in sixth grade, I did this, then middle school, I did this, and this, and this, and this," and I was just quiet. I was just silent. I couldn't believe it. And you don't understand how much weight that carries on you until it's gone. So, my brother and I, I'm Doug in PA. My twin brother's AJ's a Ransom Reyes. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but he's doing really good. Anyway, so AJ and I, we we used to run a mentorship group for young African American and African immigrant men, and I meet a lot of us black men have horrible mothers. A lot of us do. It's kind of like a brotherhood, right? In fact, I've only met like 5 or 6 or 7 black men my age who actually had good relationships with their moms. But I would mentor these young guys, and all their mothers were awful to them. And I'm on the other side of it now, but they're still where I was before I was 36. And it's just so.
Were you angry?
Awful.
Were you really angry about it when you were younger?
I wasn't angry. It's just sad because I grew up in the suburbs, so my next door neighbors were your stereotypical, their dad was a colonel, and then the mom was a stay-at-home wife, and then she'd make the cookies. They have this stereotypical TV mom. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then you just come home to your family, something's not right. You're like, why is my mom like this? So, and then the hardest part about it is just like accepting that your mom is just like not a good mom. But I'm fortunate that my mom was able to do the work and and turn it around. But I just feel bad for the guys that are still on the other side, because it's just awful. When your mom is just I don't know how else to put it, just verbally and like emotionally just abusive, I guess. I mean, if you want to put it that way. And a lot of mothers, they make excuses. Even if mothers have trauma, they have to figure that out, and don't take it out on your kids. It's not it's not their fault that they're here, and it's not right that mothers feel the ability and feel entitled to be able to take their trauma out on their kids.
And a lot of times it's really subtle too with moms. Like they have very subtle manipulation. Maybe yours sounds like she wasn't. Hers was very direct.
Yeah, it wasn't subtle at all. I remember. So when I was growing up, my mom would just make things uncomfortable in the house, right, with her words. And I remember we were latchkey kids because both my parents got off work after we got home from school. Mm-hmm. And I always remember it was so bad that like when I got home from school, we had about an hour before my mom came home, and you hear the garage door open, and you're like, son of a bitch, here we go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we had that like 45 minutes to an hour before she got home of peace, before it was just straight up chaos, dude. It was just chaos.
Yeah.
And like, no one can hurt you like your family. Like there are things that you tolerate from your family or your mother and your father that like if anyone that you didn't know or you weren't related to would say that to you, you'd literally like fight them. You know what I'm saying? But it's your mom and your dad. You know what I'm saying?
No, totally.
And you're a kid. So once again, I'm going to sum this up by saying I'm fortunate enough that my mom has done the work to be a better person to all of her kids. But the first 35 years of my life, it was just awful. Like she literally said that she was in a lot of pain, and she wanted everyone around her to feel the same pain that she felt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you made it to the other side. I'm glad you made it to the other side of it.
Yeah, and I'm really thankful for her for doing all that work, because she didn't have to. And I know guys who will never get that, like ever. It'll never happen, especially in the Black community. Someone asked me in the chat, what makes Black mothers so horrible? Because you can't tell them nothing, you can't question them, because Black mother is Black mother God. What Tupac say? Even though you was a crack fiend, you're still a Black queen. That is true in the Black community. And that has to change. It has to.
Doug, do you want to maybe moderate the people in and out, or just tell, like, could you tell, I can't see the Zoom, so could you put tell whoever's next to go next? And if anyone...
So Marvin, go ahead.
And then if anyone needs to mute, would you mind, like, telling them if they get in? Or like message.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
So Marvin, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still learning the Zoom. I barely got my Zoom app downloaded a month ago. I'm still learning. I'm like the basic.
That's okay. What do you think of the top? That's okay. What do you think of the topic? I can hear you fine.
Depends on the levels. I got different levels of the topic. You want to start with child support, or why there's so many broken single mom homes?
No, so I
Or
want to hear about your experience. Do you know any women that regretted having kids? Did your mom ever say that she regretted having you?
not my mother, but I had someone at one point telling me that she regrets having kids with her ex, and I asked her why. You must have felt something or a connection to have children with this man. Why all of a sudden you regret it? Oh, she's just not there mentally or financially. I was like, it's. And then they broke up. A year later after they were together for just not even 3 years. So it's just, I don't get into the details because it's really, you know, um, private, and it might even go too high for me for some of us to understand, dramatically. So she just said that out of the blue. I never heard that before in a person. And it's saying, how can you regret having children with the man you chose? You must have felt something. I'm just saying from a man's perspective. So then I left it like that and didn't go further from there. I didn't even have any more questions after that.
What about your mom? Did she ever say she regretted having you guys?
No, I'm the oldest of the sons. I'm the oldest son. My brother is the youngest, and he's no longer living with us. He lives in Nevada. He's ex-military, so I'm the oldest out of the two. No, she never said anything like that.
Okay.
Never.
Any other thoughts on the topic of women regretting having kids, personal stories, anything else you want to add?
No, not at the moment because it goes deeper into the information I have. I don't know if we're ready for that right now.
Yeah, if you have another topic, you can DM me on Twitter. It's Pearly Things with a Z. And then if it's interesting, like a story or something, maybe we'll do a show and set it up. But thank you very much for calling. If we could move on. Doug, who's next?
Eric.
Eric, okay.
Eric, you're on mute. Eric.
I think we got another sign up. So thank you, Rob, for the sign up. Oh, we got another one. You guys are so nice. You don't have to do any of this. That's the crazy thing. Ladybird, thank you very much for the sign up. You guys are amazing. I'm going to read the chat really quick before we go to the next caller. Okay. Okay, let me see. Mom who coddles her kid into thinking they're special is just raising an entitled adult who'll be blindsided by reality, and nobody's handing out participation trophies in the real world. Okay. And then who's next?
James, are you there?
Hello?
Yep. James, go ahead.
Hi, James. How are you?
Yeah. Hi, Pearl. I've actually been watching your show for quite some time, like a few months.
Okay.
And just found out what the topic was of your mother regretting having you. I wouldn't say that my mother regretted having me, but she did say that I was an accident per se. So I don't know if that really counts. And my mom got married to my dad, and she was a single mother too, with a child already in tow. And my half brother actually was physically abusive to me during my childhood, and that kind of messed me up a little bit. And I was also married. I'm now divorced, but it was also a very abusive marriage, and I came to find out that my ex-wife had children with my brother, one of my younger brothers, and that was especially heartbreaking. So
she had Okay, so was this the brother that was abusive towards you?
No, it was a full-fledged brother. My mom had like 7 children. But her firstborn is my half brother, and he was the abusive one. But one of my younger brothers, one of my younger brothers is the father of the children that I presumed were mine. But I found through DNA testing during the divorce process that the children were not biologically mine.
So how old were the kids when you found out?
8 and 4 years old. The 8-year-old is a girl, and I named her after my grandmother. And the 4-year-old is a son, and my ex-wife named him and gave his middle name the same name as my first name. So I was definitely attached to these kids, and in a way I kind of still am, but I haven't really seen them in a while. But with the result of the court-ordered DNA test that I requested, I'm not on child support. My wife didn't seek alimony, so I guess I just got lucky that I didn't get hit that bad. But I still got hit pretty hard though. I don't know. It's really messed up.
How long did the affair go on? Like, was it, like, do you have any idea when it started? Like, what was the...
It was...
Go ahead. Sorry.
It was years. When when I first started dating her before the marriage, she confessed to me about it, and I took her back, even though I shouldn't have. And that was probably a mistake for sure. And then over time, we did get married, and she wanted to also open up the relationship and find other partners. And I agreed to it, but I guess part of the reason is because I was fond of the idea of being with other women. Perhaps that was selfish. And she wanted to see my brother again. And when I tried finding other women, I couldn't even get anywhere with other women until she brought another woman into the mix. So it's...
What was the confrontation with your brother like? Do you guys still talk?
No, not anymore. Not right now. And the other part is that my ex-wife even turned one of my other brothers against me. I got a lot of brothers.
How did she turn him against you? Like, in that situation, it's pretty...
Reputation damage.
I just would think it'd be pretty clear who was in the wrong if she got knocked up by your brother, you know?
It was more reputation damage. And this was with one of my other younger brothers who I was really close with because he was the one next to me, below me. And we were like best friends, and that kind of got destroyed when she started telling both my brothers that I was the abuser, even though I'm the one that has the police report that says that I was the victim of domestic violence.
Wow.
James, I don't know if you said it, but did you say in what context your mom told you that you were in an accident? Was she angry when she said it? Like what did you, if you don't mind?
No, she wasn't angry. It was more...
Because why would she say that to you? Like, why?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. But when my mom got married to my dad, she already had my half brother in the mix, but my older brother, full-fledged brother, that was born during the marriage, he wasn't the one considered an accident. He was the one that my parents were actually trying to go for a kid. Any other kid after that was considered an accident. I was the first accident, so to speak.
Wow. Okay.
Mothers say that a lot. I've heard a lot of moms say that, Doug, and I never really questioned it. But yeah, why do they say that?
You can think it, but why would you even say it? Once again, we have mothers saying that stuff on social media for their kids to find when they get older. It's insane.
My mother never really put that on social media. She said that to me when I was a kid in kind of a casual manner.
Wow. Well,
demon.
How long has it been since the divorce now?
I was divorced officially, I want to say last December. I think that's when it was finalized. So I've been divorced for currently a number of months now, like a couple.
Are you doing better? How are you doing?
So there are bouts of depression. Currently I'm unemployed because the last job that I was at, I brought in my brothers, half my siblings anyways, into the company because they needed some employees. And and ever since the domestic violence incident and the separation, my relationship with my brothers have kind of turned sour.
Yeah.
And I left the company because I did not want to bring confrontation in the company or deal with my siblings who I felt were basically traitors. Bros against hoes got thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, bros before hoes got thrown out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's the craziest story I've heard in a while. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Doug. Sorry.
Is Chris on the line? Chris, are you there?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
What do you have to say?
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's
New
okay.
to this, I'm afraid.
You know what the show is about? Have you been listening?
Absolutely, I do. I
Go ahead.
have.
What do you have?
I certainly have one of those mothers now. I don't know if you can actually see me. I'm on video there.
Yeah, we can't
I'm actually
see today, but keep going. Sorry.
I'm actually quite a bit probably older than most of your audience, believe it or not. Born in 1981. Now, to make a long story. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, mate.
I'm for in 1980. You make me feel old. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
1981 here. Myself, 81.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Roger that. Then I'm in good company. Thank you so much. Yes. To make a long story short, my mother was certainly one of those that regretted motherhood and regretted it deeply. But I think probably not for the same reasons that most women today would. It certainly goes to show that a lot of these women that end up feeling this way, they've usually gone through something or are going through something, and certainly no excuse for the way they treat their children. Brief synopsis of mine is my mother grew up very white trash poor here in Canada, in Eastern Canada. She dropped out of school, I think at 16, I believe she said. She became a prostitute. And one of the things she used to torment, especially me with, because, well, let me take this forward. So she eventually ended up marrying a man that's not white. My sister is the product of their marriage. She looks like my dad, but of course I don't. I am the product of one of her liaisons when she was how shall we say, a working woman. And she never did tire of reminding me of that fact, or certainly making oblique references to it. Nevertheless, a very bipolar, very mentally ill woman who abused her children, who abused her husband. And I'm certainly living proof of, these women, they mess their sons up. They mess them up quite badly. It took me many years to get over growing up in that fashion. It is certainly possible. Now, I must confess, I've never been to therapy or anything of that nature. I joined the Canadian Forces up here, and I suppose they've been the stand-in that my family never really was. But
I'm gonna ask you a question, Chris. Did you ever, when you got older, because one thing about growing older is that eventually you see that parent worship is gone, right? And you see your parents as like a regular person, When that happens, it's usually in your 20s. Did you ever try to confront your mom about how you grew up, and how did she take it? Did she do the stereotypical denial? Did she do the whole, I did the best I could. I put a roof over your head. I put food in your mouth. All that. How did she handle it when you started confronting her about how you grew up?
Well, it was interesting. I'd spent most of my teen years as a delinquent. I hit the big time when I was 18. After my brief stint in the big house, then I was homeless for stretches. And I always remember I would always try to go back and maybe put my life together and live under their roof again. And my mother and I'd set to killing each other. It was bad. And I distinctly remember one conversation where she had suggested that we get therapy. And I swear to you that this is a verbatim quote when she had done all the arrangements and so on and so forth. She had said, "Okay, but you can't talk about what happened when you grew up."
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
That is, it's funny, but that is a verbatim quote. I swear to you. And needless to say, I did not go through with this charade that she had planned. She had basically wanted to say, my son is a screw up. It's all his fault. And he's trying to blame me and all that sort of business. As the years have gone by, of course, she's in her 60s now. And she's on medication to regulate her bipolar. She'll go on ad nauseum about how much of a bad parent she was, and certainly fair enough. I have a young son myself. He's going to be 9 soon. And she will always bang on about how I've broken the cycle and all sorts of things that make her feel better, I suppose. I guess at the end of the day, to all the fellows out there, and especially if you're young guys, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all we can really do, right? That's all we can do is just be different and be better than what we were. I know it's hard. I remember, waiting all those years working menial jobs, trying to sort myself out and, trying to go straight after, my delinquent years. And, it's hard, man. My path to, the military, that's not everybody. Fully admit that. But for a guy who needed structure in his life after not really having it, it was a godsend. I've been married twice. My wife now, God bless her, puts up with me, knows full well what I grew up with. She detests my mother, by the way. It is, it's very interesting, their relationship and their dynamic, but, just keep banging on, fellas. That's all I can say. And Pearl, just let me say this. I know you take a lot of flack, a lot of it unjustified, in my opinion, but you're giving people a voice that would ordinarily be ignored and dismissed, as obviously we are in a lot of cases. So rather than me monopolize all the time here, I just want to thank you, Pearl, and thank you, gentlemen. And allow me to, if of course no other questions, allow me to pass it over.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Eric, you're still on mute. Are you there, Eric? Because you've been in the Zoom chat, just sitting there.
How many other people are on the line, Doug?
There's Gio and Dana.
You said Gio and Dana?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll do those three, and that'll be all the callers we take. Okay.
Oh, okay. So Gio, get off mute. What do you think about the topic? And then we'll do Dana after that. I can't hear you, buddy. See your mouth? Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So currently I'm married, and I've been married for 2 years, and have been in my relationship for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So a total of 7 years. Or we were dating in a relationship for 7 years, 5 years, and then so total 7. But when we first started dating, I knew kind of early, she kind of hinted, at least my partner hinted, that she had the possibility of not wanting a kid, and I thought that was going to change. So I know it's kind of like not directly answering the topic's question, but we're still now 7 years later. We're at the point where she's still kind of with that firm no. And recently, last week, I just kind of found out that she was texting or like sexting another guy, and like basically it was her ex, and she's been having like mini affairs like outside of our relationship whenever we would have breakups. So she wouldn't count it as cheating, I guess. But anyways, and so then that kind of made me think, well, the way I kind of perceive things is I think women either if they do get married and have kids with specific husbands or like their husband, and then maybe later on regret it, it's because they regret it because they didn't have it with the guy they wanted to. And I think that's going to be a more common trend. So similar to like women like to show off for their weddings and also show off their kids. But I think because of social media, women can compare themselves to other women and them having their kids. I think maybe that's a possibility where women can often maybe have not necessarily regrets of having like a kid, but maybe that kid with a specific person, and maybe they saw themselves having it with another kid. So I don't know. I just think like specifically like I think it's probably not as common now, but I think because I think from the ages of like 27 to like or 20 like 28 27 to like 38, since I was in college, that was like 13 and 16, that's when like Instagram kind of blew up, and I could see that there is a lot of like friction, or there's a lot of restrictions with like how women like they were a lot more selective with who they picked to date. And
after
that would
social
be
media
like
came.
prime dating time for any guy. So I think that's why we're at this point now, 10 years later, where even like now women don't necessarily want to have kids still, or it's they're having less kids, or they're holding off later on because they're
Is someone who needs to mute their mic, Doug? Do you hear that?
I think that's your mic, Gia.
Is it? I don't think. Is it?
It's popping.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
So I don't know. I just I think it's gonna happen more. Probably like in the next 5 years or 10 years. As soon as women do start having kids, and maybe they keep on comparing themselves like on Instagram, and they're probably going to regret not necessarily having that kid, but with the person that they didn't
Right.
end up having it or wanting to have it with.
Who was your girlfriend sexting? Was it anyone you knew or someone from her past?
Yeah, it was. So I think it was like her like second boyfriend in like high school, and we met. I met her like towards the end of my college. So like we're 4 years apart. She's 28. I'm 32. Or she's 29. Sorry. And she was. So the first time she cheated was like not when we first dated, but the first time she moved in. And she moved in with me, and like we moved 4 hours away from wherever her hometown is. And the first time that she went over, that's when she went to go visit her family. That's when she like ended up cheating. And then I didn't find out until like a year and a half later, because we were having like we were like playing like a drunk game, and I kind of like caught her slipping up on a couple lies, and then or things that didn't really add up, and that's when I kind of like uncovered it. And then I ended up realizing it a couple of times later that she did have affairs whenever we did have breakups, and that came through just like me kind of like not interrogating her, but like where her story didn't really add up in like her having interactions with him and whatnot. And then now just recently, I just found out that that she did it again. So we're definitely gonna get a divorce. So
Yeah. What made you accept it the first time?
What made me what?
Accept it the first time.
The first time, I think, because she is pretty traditional. I think I had I think I experienced like sex pretty early, like in an early age. And I think she didn't as much because her parents are pretty conservative. And I think she was like kind of holding off for someone special. And I guess whoever she did end up having it with, like ended up like rejecting her afterwards. And then so I think she like kind of dated like a few other times. But I was like her fourth guy, I guess. And I dated a lot like a lot earlier in my high school years, and a little bit in college. But the reason I think I took her back was because I kind of caught her early on to where like she didn't have like a high body count. So in my mind, I just felt like I know people make mistakes, so I just kind of accepted that one mistake. And I felt like because she didn't have that many experiences, I mean, we're all humans, we all have like sexual tendencies, and like I gave her that pass, I guess. But she also, during that time, the reason why I didn't kick her out of the house right away was because during that time I just got like a new job offer, and it took a lot of my time to like balance school and work. And she like kind of made it up for me, and like showed her dedication back. And I was kind of giving her a timeline when I was going to kick her out, but like I just got like the job offer like I think it was like 2-3 weeks after I found out that she did something, or that she cheated on me. That she cheated on me like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I, yeah. But Yeah. Any questions, Pearl?
Not really. I mean, I kind of get the gist. So it's crazy that she went back to a high school boyfriend. That's really a long time ago. Doug, do you have
Yeah.
anything?
You know, I just want to say, all of us have simped you. Most of us have. In fact, I always say don't trust a man raised in America who says he hasn't simped, because like America raises men to be simps. So like a lot of guys who say, "Oh, I'd never take a girl back that cheated," they probably have. Hate to say it, but so it's better that you learn now and you're moving forward. Just don't make the mistake again. But America raises simps, dude. You just got to make sure that you're not a simp for very long in your life.
Thanks, Warren. Perfect.
Well, thanks for calling in and sharing. Okay.
Thank you.
And then Dana, are you there? Dana S.
Is that Dana? Is that a woman? I had a woman call into my show.
I don't know. Oh, they're gone now.
Figures.
Okay.
Who's
Eric? Are you there? Because you've been sitting on Zoom call this whole time.
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. What do you think about the topic?
It's interesting. It's why I was here. I was like curious to hear a story about the other people. And I'm sorry if I can sound weird because I'm French and I need some time to practice a little bit my English. So just
okay. So
I don't have I don't have like a story about myself, but I have one about a friend. I can say that he been married like 15 years with the same woman, and I guess she got like 3 kids with my friend, but because a lot of things like happened lately, and I guess she never wanted those kids. Because every time like I was going to this home, she was like always a little bit cold with the kid, or when she had to be alone with the kid, she never like seemed like totally happy to be with them and stuff. And my friend like really loved this kid and all, and because like 4 years ago he was starting like to have fight with his wife, and I don't know all the story, but they got a fight and she called the cops. And after she said like he beated her and he got in jail. And when he was at jail, she lost the child custody because the government said like she was a bad mother, and he knew this like after coming out from jail, and now like he's trying to have back the kid, but he's not allowed because he's been to jail and being anyway. So I have the feeling like his wife accused him wrong, because to what I know, I don't think he ever touched her. But
we call it, Eric. We call that a false accusation.
Yeah,
you can add that to your English terms.
Okay. And now, like, my friend is like very sad because he really want like to see his kid back, but he's not able to, and his ex-wife like just lost the child custody, so I guess it's happened because, like I was saying, maybe she never wanted them, and
So where are the kids now? If she doesn't have custody and he doesn't, who has them?
I think the government gave them to another family, and
No way.
who it is.
Oh my God!
You let the government take custody of the whole package?
Yeah, because I live in Quebec, and sometimes it can happen if like both parents are like took to be unfit to take the child or stuff like that.
Wow.
Was there any domestic violence involved?
Does that happen often in Quebec? Do you know a lot of men going through that? Because that's par for the course in the United States. Well, except for the women, the the child going to the government type of thing, but you got to assume that a woman could make a false accusation. Well, when women want the kids, they'll do everything necessary to get them, including false accusations, putting the guy in jail and stuff. Has it happened a lot in Montreal?
I don't know all the story, but I heard it's happened. It seemed lately it's happened. Lately, maybe more than like a few years ago.
Oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Oh, Doug, it's everywhere, especially the countries they say it's not.
Oh.
Like, India is some of the worst stories I've heard, and everyone always says they don't have these problems. I know he's talking about Canada, but wow. How's your how long has it been since your friend's seen him?
Now it's been like near 3 years he didn't see them.
Wow.
Did you know where the kids are, like what family they're with or anything, or does he not even know where the kids are?
I think you don't know because it's been a while. I am talking a little less with him because he's very depressed and he's not like talking to me a lot lately. So
Wow.
How many kids? 2, 3?
Three.
Oh.
I wonder if they're all with the same family or different.
He got the 3 kids was with the same woman.
No, I meant like now, if the kids were split up or they're together.
I don't know.
Wow. Wow, I'm sorry your friend went through that. That's insane. So the woman gave up the kids to the state, essentially?
No, she didn't give up. Is the state went to her home and they judged her unfit.
Oh, so, and they wouldn't give him to the dad too because of the abuse claims.
Dude, they had a warrant to get into the house. A bench warrant, they called it.
A what?
Did they have a bench warrant?
I don't know all the story about that.
He said earlier that she gave them up, right?
No, she didn't give them up. They took it because when the government can like have a feeling like you're very unfit to have those kids, they can like take it.
Brutal.
But it's something in Quebec, state of Canada. It's something happened in Quebec.
I'm going to ask you another question, Eric. In general, how bad does a woman have to be to her children to get taken away?
I know somebody that the wife negligently killed one of the younger kids and she still got custody.
Oh, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Was that possible?
How? I don't know. It was a really liberal judge and the guy was pretty conservative.
The judge needs to be replaced then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
That's everybody on the Zoom call.
That's everyone, Doug?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry guys, this is a later show than I usually do. I'm getting kind of sleepy. Okay, well, thanks for bearing with all of my tech issues today. I do think I foresee in like 3 days this is going to be improved. So, Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Like the video on your way out and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, we're trying to get 3,500 members on the website. So if you can, the link's in the description. It's on both of the app stores. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you.
Have a good one, y'all.
You have a good one. Thank you.
And